Hey everybody! Today I'm going to be doing the Batman book tag. The Batman book tag was created by Logan Mathis. He's really cool and entertaining. You should check out his channel. Basically, he created a tag in which every answer is Batman, but you have to come up with an answer that isn't Batman or any superhero or Harry Potter because those would be way too easy. Also, because a lot of people I know have done this tag, I tried to stay away from the most obvious choice and I tried to pick books that either a lot of people wouldn't know about. I was tagged by Sympathy, so you should go check out him as well. I will leave his stuff below. And here we go with the Batman. Number 1 is named a character who was orphaned. I am going to go with Martine from The White Giraffe. This is a series that I really loved as a child. I got the second book because it was about dolphins, and then I realized there was a first book, so I read that. This series is about a girl named Martine. Her parents die in a fire, and she goes to live with her grandmother in South Africa. She lives on this animal preserve with all these African animals. Martine discovers she has these special abilities to communicate with these animals, and there's this legendary white giraffe, and there's this whole legend of someone who will be able to ride this white giraffe and help all the animals. Number 2 is a character who has to overcome a fear. I chose Melinda from Speak. With Melinda, basically something horrible happened to her at a party, and she called the cops out of fear, and now everyone hates her because they think she just did it for the heck of it, and she's afraid to speak about this experience and tell people what really happened and truly try to make friends at all. And the whole book she's really in her own head, and she's trying to find herself and the courage to talk about her feelings and tell everyone what was going on, and she's one of the best characters out there. The third question is a character who is a good fighter, and I am choosing Mikasa from the Attack on Titan series, which is a manga. Attack on Titan is a futuristic series in which most of humanity has died out because of these giants called Titans which have eaten everyone. So they've built this giant wall to keep themselves safe. The main character saves Mikasa as a child, and so now she lives to kind of protect him. She's the best fighter out of every character in the book, but she doesn't even really care. She just wants to be able to protect her friends and those who are close to her because she just can't stand the thought of losing anyone anymore. She's just one of the most amazing dynamic characters I've ever read about. Number 4 is a character with 2 identities. I couldn't really think of a really unique one for this one, so I went with Arya from Game of Thrones. After the first Game of Thrones book, Arya is on the run, and she takes up all these personas and identities depending on who she encounters. She has a bunch of external identities where she tells someone, oh, I'm this person, I'm from here. She also, I feel has 2 internal identities. She has the young girl who's scared and doesn't know what to do. And then she has her side where she just wants vengeance and she wants to do whatever it takes, and she you'll notice in the book, she repeats all of Sirio's teachings to her over and over again. And also, from what I've heard about the later books, she gets even more identities. So, that I'm very excited to read about that. Number 5 is a character who has a conflict with his morals. I chose Tim O'Brien from Things That Carried by Tim O'Brien. I've talked about this in my Top 10 School Books video. Tim O'Brien wrote a novel about his experiences in the Vietnam War, but it was slightly fictional. It's kind of hard to explain, but a big part of the novel is that not all of the things he said were true, but all war stories are true, as in they're all based off of real feelings and maybe something he wanted to do. So there's this one scene Tim O'Brien has about himself where he gets his draft letter in the summer and he doesn't know what to do about it, and he works near the Canada border, and then one day he just decides that he's gonna run away to Canada and never look back and be on the run for the rest of his life. He just does not want to go to Vietnam. He does not believe in this war, and he's so terrified of what will happen over there. He convinces the stranger, who kind of knows what he's doing, to give him a boat, and he starts to row over with the stranger, and the stranger's talking to him. And then he slowly realizes that he just can't do this. It's against his values. He can't abandon his family and be a coward and run away. He decides that he has to go. And it was just a very powerful scene of just this deep inner fear, that knowing that going somewhere you could lose your life, but at the same time knowing that you have to do it. Number 6 is a character who either can't be in a relationship or has difficulty being in a relationship. I chose Augustin Burroughs from Dry. Dry is mostly about Augustin's struggles as an alcoholic. You find out he's kind of in love with this guy that he used to date, but they decided they couldn't, it would ruin their friendship. And because of his struggles as an alcoholic, he has a very hard time having any close relationships with anybody besides his drinking buddy. And he also, at other points in the book, he tries to have a relationship with this other guy, but it just doesn't work out, and he can't hold on to any relationships because of how bad his alcoholism is. It's a very good read, and it really opened up my mind to things like drug addiction. So this is another thing I would really recommend. Number 7 is a novel with a sidekick. For this, I chose Fiver from Watership Down. Fiver is he's the runt of the litter, and he has like this vision and this like sixth sense that something's bad is going to happen in their war and they all have to get out. So he's kind of the sidekick, and his brother Hazel takes charge of the group and becomes their leader. Fiver relays his visions and sixth sense to him, and Hazel carries it out and makes sure everyone gets out of there. And finally, number 8 is a character who does not want to reveal their identity. I chose Jeanette Walls from The Glass Castle. This is yet another memoir. This book is about Jeanette's childhood, being homeless, and she just had a rough time. Her parents wanted to be homeless, even though they had the option not to be at different points in their life, and her like breaking away from that and creating her own life. There's one point near the end of the book where she's in college and her professor starts a discussion about homelessness. Jeanette raises her hand and tries to make the argument that there are some homeless people who actually want to be homeless. You're not just homeless because of circumstance all of the time. And her professor just lashes out at her and is like, well, what do you know about that? And Jeanette doesn't say anything, even though she knows she's right, because she's embarrassed and doesn't want to be treated differently. Then she later has trouble telling her boyfriend and later fiancé about her past and keeping it from him, but she ultimately decides that she does have to reveal this part of herself because it is part of who she is. Okay, that's it for this tag. I'm gonna tag Beth Ann because you just tagged me in something and you haven't done this, so here you go. And I'm going to tag my friend Catherine. She's my roommate and she just started a booktube channel, so you guys need to go check her out. Go subscribe to her now. And I'm going to tag 1 or 2 other mystery people that I haven't thought of yet because I need to go see who has not done this yet. So look out for that in the description, and I'll see you next time. Bye!